I want you to ask that question again. Because I said, all right, we're done recording. And then you said, that was nice recording out here. And I said, yeah, it was nice recording out here. And then you said, it was a little weird staring at each other. And I said, yeah. And you said, you were staring at me too, right? Now, here's something interesting about staring. If you were staring at me, which means you saw my eyes, doesn't that kind of mean you could tell that I wasn't looking at the ceiling as you talked to me? Couldn't you kind of tell I was looking at you? It's a little weird of a question to ask. It's like, I mean, that's a little strange.
Look, Alex, we're boys. We're boys here.
We're the boys, yeah.
No, I meant like was me. Were you looking also because I was staring at? Like, I guess I'll make eye contact with him. Like, was I the one enforcing the looking?
No.
Good, because now it's all awkward.
Now it is all awkward.
Yeah, we're boys. Want to talk about that?
The boys?
Yeah, what's up, the boys?
No.
You, me, and Huey?
I'm actually saving that for our the boys podcast.
Nice. Coming to you.
It's called the Yurasits Boys. It's on our 13th channel.
That's a good topic to get into.
The boys, yeah. We're gonna do a boys companion review series. We're doing it now because since the show hasn't ended yet, there hasn't been an opportunity for two meaningless actors from the show to make a podcast reviewing the show. You know what I mean?
That's true.
Since the show hasn't ended and everyone who's in that show still has a grasp of an idea of a career, they don't have time yet to make a review of their show. We're like, hey guys, it's me, Jason Street, and Matt Saracen, also Mae Whitman, and we're talking about Friday Night Lights. Even though I'm only in the first 2 seasons, I'm going to talk about the whole entire series as if I have any fucking part of it. And Mae Whitman, who wasn't in it at all, well, she worked with Jason Katims on Parenthood, and she's a fan, so she's qualified to be here. And then Matt, well, he's actually in the show, so I guess I can't make fun of Matt Saracen with those dreamy eyes of his.
I was going to say, when you were doing this little introduction saying about when you were describing what the Friday Nights podcast is,
yeah.
I was going to say, wow, that sounds really specific. Is there any in mind you're referring to? Beat me to it. Fucking, there's one thing I can't respect, though, not about them at all, because everybody does that stupid fucking type of podcast. The Even Stevens crew's got it. The Ned's, every idiot who's ever been on a TV show has their own podcast now, where they just watch the fucking show and talk about it.
And you know what's weird about that, too? Maybe it's been a lie for my entire life, but I thought actors didn't like watching themselves on screen.
Yeah, or would, act.
That's true. But it's like, everyone is, I guess they're not actors, that's the point, because you have a fucking podcast reviewing. You can have I'm not even saying you can't have a podcast. If an actor wants to have a podcast, fine. But if you have a podcast about your own work.
It's the most ego-inflating nonsense in the world.
It's so ego. You're a maniac for doing that. And it's become the norm now. And also, it's like, what did It's Classified run? 3 seasons?
I think so. Like 100 fucking years ago at this point.
And these guys are like, yeah, a lot of our fans, a lot of your fans, considering I can only name Lindsay Shaw, I don't think you guys have any fans.
I only know the show exists when she pops up.
I know, and that's the girl from Ned's Declassified and 10 Things I Hate About You.
The girl on Walking Dead who's from Ned's Declassified, I don't even register if she's from that fucking show.
Oh my god, that's
Ceratos. So the only reason I remember is she on the fucking podcast now? Because she's not a fucking idiot.
No, and proof, this is hilarious. According to IMDb, 10 Things I Hate About You, a.k.a. 10 Things I Hate About You on ABC Family, premiering July 7th. Okay? A new ABC original series. I don't think they know what original means. A comedy about fitting in and standing out. Wow, that's really good. Also...
Yeah, because that's the 2 themes that most stand out from the movie.
Yeah, because they're always like, you know what? I love how 10 Things I Hate About You just represents fitting in and standing out at the same time.
I guess everyone's going to argue that because...
At Porter High, newcomers Kat and Bianca Stratford attempt to navigate the popular crowd.
Wait, they're new students in that show?
Yeah, because the show was like, how can we make this just a very loose amalgamation of what the movie actually was?
That's fucking stupid.
We've waited a whole decade to get here. 99 to 2009. Let's abortion this fucking property, you know? Mm-hmm. We're going to keep Larry Miller in because that guy knows his fucking shit. That guy's funny.
It is kind of cool he's back in it. He might be the only gem in the show.
Yeah, actually, I thought making Joey Donner Flash Thompson from Amazing Spider-Man was pretty funny.
I think Cousin Greg in that fucking show?
Yeah, of course Cousin Greg. He plays Cameron. Honestly, I would sell my soul to get a new version of Things I Hate About You 1999 with everything the same except for instead of Joseph Gordon-Moron, it was just fucking Cousin Greg in that part instead. A little Beth Page representation. No, my point of bringing that up in the first place was Lindsay Shaw on IMDb isn't even known for fucking Ned's Declassified. She's known for the 1 season of 10 Things I Hate About You over however many years that show lasted, proving that, if anything, she should be on a 10 Things I Hate About You podcast hosted by Lindsay Shaw, Megan Martin, and Ethan Peck.
It's a really good point.
Not unless Brock is too busy on Succession. But hey, Succession ends in this year. Maybe in 5-6 years' time, you can get you can have the Roman cousin Greg. Hey guys, we're calling it Succession of Succession podcast, where we're talking about how we've succeeded from the show.
Except Trick, we already got that coming to you this fall.
Exactly, it's
Alex
coming
and
out
Robbie's part of our
immediately.
podcast service.
Yeah, guys, you join the BYE podcast network. You can.
We have the Boys Companion podcast.
The Boys Companion
we got
podcast.
Succession Companion podcast.
It's only the 2 right now, but there's room for more.
Yeah, we got some more coming. We're going to be starting a 90s show, companion podcast.
The 90s? Oh, for the... Dude, that's
We're getting
funny.
way on the ground.
I thought you were just talking about... That's proof of how irrelevant that is.
I
thought you were talking... No, when you said that 90s, I'm like, oh, does he mean just like we're going to do a podcast reviewing shows in the 90s?
That's actually a cool idea.
I'm like, what's it mean? Just go through... We'll go through each successful pilot of the decade.
Idea. I only said that, though, because I saw that 70s show, and I thought, that's too far gone. Oh, wait, there's a new one.
That 80s show. No, that 90s show.
That's exactly how the thought
I can't wait for that 2000 show to come out, where it's just like the entire cast is really trying to compartmentalize and handle the effects of 9/11.
The only two former...
Like, yeah, guys, it's 2001. It's going to be the best year ever. Woo! And it cuts like saying... It does like... There's like the point place when Wisconsin is like the boom, boom. Like, there's like the noise in the black screen. Mm-hmm. It's like, all right, guys, this is not the best year ever.
New York.
Yeah, it says
9/11.
Yeah. And you see Kelsey like, oh my God!
I was trying to do the drums in the intro.
And he's screaming.
You know,
really
Meadow and AJ have a podcast.
Who?
Meadow and AJ, Soprano.
Yeah, but that's different.
That's my point.
Because they have a
Theirs is
podcast
cool.
being friends. They might talk about Sopranos. They might have Sopranos guests on. But they're doing this thing where it's like they've moved on from being in the Sopranos.
That's what's cool about theirs. The only time I've ever even heard them mention the Sopranos, because I don't watch as much as you do.
I only hear when people like mention it to them. We're like, that's so cool. The Sopranos. I'm like, yeah,
I was referring to the Super Bowl commercial, and they brought up that commercial.
And that's entirely different.
Totally okay.
You're on a Super Bowl commercial. You should talk about that.
They're not going on. And AJ's not like, I was the glue that held that scene together. James confided in me. We called him Jimmy, though. Jimmy was saying that, I can't get through this scene without
The only time I heard him tell a Jimmy story was like the most heartwarming thing. He was talking about how when he got his first apartment, how James Gandolfini in secret went to the apartment building and talked to the guy. He's like, I want to make sure he's got a good place. Don't fuck with him. Like, if you need anything, if he's late on his rent, you fucking call me. You don't throw him out. He's like all like nice about it.
We haven't said this in a while, but AJ's fucking awesome.
I love Robert Iyer. Yeah, he's
I wish
the
he would
best.
come hang out with us. That guy's
dude, he lives like
awesome.
45 minutes. That's the only reason I'm doing this fucking podcast. I've said it before. The only reason I'm fucking doing this stupid fucking thing that you idiots are listening to is so I can hang out with Robert Iyer and maybe Meadow Soprano.
What do you think is more of an ego inflation? Fucking the Friday Night Lights podcast sort of setup?
Or The Office?
Or that's ridiculous. Or the Smosh one that we recently found out.
Dude, that was ridiculous.
How insane is that? I hate all the fucking comedians that have podcasts and go on each other's podcasts. And I know what you're thinking. You guys are on a podcast.
Yeah, but we're different. We have a things I hate about you podcast. We have a Succession podcast. No, I get what you're saying. It's so annoying that every comedian goes on to like. No, it's not even the fact. No, that's not true. If every comedian had one podcast, if every comedian had one single podcast, and they all cross pollinate, I'd be fine. But it's the fact that Brendan Schaub's like, yeah, I have 22 active podcasts. If you come on all 22 of them in a row, talk about the exact same thing with me, that'd be sweet.
And like, maybe you have different things you want to talk about on different podcasts, but I'm almost 100% certain without knowing the guy. Brendan Schaub does not have that many different things he needs to talk about on that many different platforms.
Brendan Schaub can't talk, let alone talk about that many things at once.
And that it's even besides the fact that they all have 100 fucking podcasts, they are all the only guests on each other's podcasts 24/7, talking about all their bullshit drama. They have their own ecosystem. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah, self-sustaining. Yeah.
They don't have any other guests. They have no other friends, no other lives. Their entire universe revolves around their stories with each other.
You know how there's in South America?
It's disgusting.
That's offensive to say South America is disgusting.
No, I was referring to
how South America, there's certain parts of elevation, like plateaus, just like really like almost like a cliffside, like flat, like giant flatlands, plains or whatever. And that the wildlife in those plains is more closely related to the African wildlife than it is to the South American wildlife because
why did I just hear that recently?
Broke off and they're so separated from everything. My point is these comedians have created their own entire where they're evolving in a different way because they've separated themselves entirely from the rest of humanity where they're in their own environment where they can change and everything.
It sincerely feels that.
It's pretty wild,
dude. For a whole month, my urine smelled like marshmallows. Do you get what I'm doing?
No.
Well, for those of you who are listening, I decided to lay on my back with the pillow like Will Ferrell does in Blades of Glory.
Yes, you did.
But unrelated, for a whole month, my urine did smell like marshmallows.
That's pretty good.
I thought this would alleviate the staring problem, but I laid it down. You went on your phone, and we both.
Well, I went on my
checked
phone
out.
to look at something, but
Dude, that was that long. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, no, man.
I thought that was an hour.
This podcast got to take off though, man, because we live in a world where podcasting is king,
Yeah.
and it's like, do you know how hard I'm going to be if I have 10,000 followers on this thing?
24/7.
Everyone was talking about, like, hey guys, I just want to say thank you for 1K. I want to say thank you for 5. Thank you for 10, guys. Thank you for 25K. Guys, 50K. You're all amazing. I don't know how we got here. 100K. I never thought I'd get here. No, it's like, you know how hard I'm going to be when I had, you know how hard I'm going to last longer. I'm going to be harder.
Be stronger.
I'm going to be stronger. If I have 10,000, like, you have 50,000 people listening, like, dude, I'm sorry. It's gonna be to the point where the more followers, it's gonna be like, God, I can't get through the podcast. It's gonna be just like,
Yeah. Easy segue too, because our sponsor today is Blue Chew. I have stronger, longer lasting erections.
That ends there.
Yeah, I couldn't think of anything further than that,
boy, buddy.
No, we just did break the podcast iceberg though, so now we might actually really
buzzwords.
Yeah.
That's smart.
See?
Talk about Brennan Schaub. Talk about. We should say tier list in here. Hey, you know those new like really popular Obama, Biden, Trump AI things? What else is popular?
Most of them.
What else is popular? I don't know, man. We gotta get on this podcast more though. We're such fucking losers that we don't record this nearly enough.
Yeah, I liked your plan of doing it.
You know what we need to do? I think I need to have a child.
Yeah, that will definitely make us spend more time.
Think about it, right? Think about the added pressure to that. It's like I'm like a diamond, you know? I just need the higher pressure, and I'll be a star.
That's really interesting. My thought process
higher
is always
stakes,
been,
more responsibility.
I see. I exclusively don't want to date now because I don't want to accidentally knock someone up. And my thought process was because then I wouldn't be doing this because I'm like, fuck, I'm going to have a kid. I have to do something a lot more painting hours and get another fucking job and really save for that. This would fall to the wayside. So it's interesting that your thought process was to make you work harder on this.
Yeah. Think about it.
I did think, but I think I got.
It'd be a lot harder to justify doing a podcast and not making any money if I had a child starving.
That's true.
if my infant boy.
Yeah, so you guys gotta support the Patreon because our children are starving right now. They have no food, no water. It's because you guys aren't paying us on Patreon.
Yeah, honestly, why can't you guys do better?
Actually,
that's the difference. It's always
problem.
that. Everyone always said. Listen, if you're on the internet listening to a podcast, it means you're a little bit of a submissive bitch anyway. All right. So why don't you just accept the fucking financial dominance and do as we fucking tell you?
Yeah, we're actually not trying not hard enough. We're trying the appropriate amount for that our listeners aren't paying us yet.
Yeah, exactly. That's the problem. Dude, I have so many notes.
This
problem. We haven't recorded in like a year and a half, and I have so many notes I want to get into, and I'm scrolling through them like,
They all seem useless at this point, right?
It's not like they seem useless. I'm just like, how do I get into these? And also, it would require, you know what we should do? I should probably read them before we record, having a loose idea of what they mean. Because like, I'm looking at the caption, and it's like, I don't know. I'm not supposed to work in those fat pussy lips, gorilla grip knuckle clumps into this conversation.
I don't even remember what that was.
Well, it was March 13th at 2:22 p.m.
No, here's the funny thing. I remember that phrase 100% because I remember you telling me you were writing that note down.
Yeah.
I just remember what the fuck it was referring to.
Yeah, man. That's interesting.
Yeah, I thought only my notes were incoherent jibber jabber. What did that guy say? Jabber, jabber, jabber. Mr. what?
I don't know what you're talking about even.
The UFC guy. He was making fun of the guy who couldn't speak.
Oh, garble, garble,
Yeah,
garble,
that's what it
garble. Mr. Sonnen.
It's so
Yeah.
good. That's the just call
Chael
something
Sonnen's
that
the
one.
bomb, dude. Dude, there's so many notes here. And it's like, I can't read them all right now. Because we both know I can't spend 1 second not talking and looking at my phone.
That's not true
because
at all.
you'll shut down.
That's not true at all, asshole. Whenever I actually go to talk, you say, hey, I'm speaking. You know how like
I'm speaking.
You know how you can't figure out how to get your notes to make sense because it's so far removed from the fact when you wanted to bring those notes up?
Yeah.
How do you think it is for me whenever I go to talk, you tell me don't speak, and then you finish your story 15 minutes later and you say, oh, you can't talk, Robbie? Well, now what I wanted to say 15 minutes ago is completely irrelevant. It makes no sense bringing up at this point. You know what makes sense bringing up? I talked about this last week. I talked about the fucking Anne Rice thing. You made a cock joke. Here's the pitch for Anne Rice. You know, some vampires like to suck blood. We also like to suck cock.
No, I heard what she said.
Pretty good one, right?
This is what she said. She's like, some vampires drink human blood. Some vampires drink animal blood. But every vampire loves to suck cock. And that's all. And then she was like, that's how she sold Interview with the Vampire to AMC.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're like, and then she actually have more. She was like, what do you have other ideas? And she's like, yeah. She went onto the board and she wrote cock on the board. And then she made an S at the end with a dollar sign. She said cocks. And they're like, I'm sold. She's pretty sick.
You know those books I got? It's about cocks.
It's about cocks.
You know how much money we can make on cocks?
Mm-hmm.
That feels like it's to be a South Park episode. Carmen realizes the answer to making tons of money, and he writes the cock thing on there. He's just selling cocks left and right.
We had a conversation really recently about that too, where I was like, "This would be a great South Park episode." But I don't remember what it was.
Me neither. That's a fucking travesty. We should really just record 24/7. What if we evolve this again? We went from this. Hold on. There's an idea. We went from having an hour-long thing to then saying we need to make it down to sitcom length.
Yeah.
What if we just do 24/7? We're recording all day to make
what
it
if
the
we
first
just
reality
hire
podcast?
any true Hollywood story crew to make a story about us?
It's actually a really good idea.
Yeah, we'll go Kevin Hart and the Mom's Guy.
That'd be really cool if we made a documentary about us now and no one knows who we are. And we released the documentary.
Yeah, I don't know why Ruben's all like, that's pathetic. Sandy, that's genius, actually. Sandy's trying to market himself.
Yeah, it is genius. We gotta make the documentary really detailed with like horrific backstory, so I would immediately.
Oh, you know what I thought of actually as well? I thought of we should work into all of our scripts like a set of skills that we want to learn.
What do you mean?
Like have it where we work into a script where like, oh yeah, it's really important this guy knows how to fence. So we can justify fencing stuff and just like get these absurd, exorbitant fees made where it's like or we'll have it where it's like, what if we have it where each week we end with the players with the actors. With the actors, I mean, what if the characters each week play like, we'll make it sentimental. They'll like, you know, like, oh, it's raining this Thursday. No one's gonna be at the middle school basketball court. We want to go hang out, just shoot hoops. And we do that every single week. So we're like, do you guys really need to have a shot doctor a part of it's a TV show. Why are you paying $175,000 a year to a basketball coach? Like, well, we do have the scene every week where people are playing basketball. So they should probably be pretty good. Okay, but you're having like a training staff. You have masseuses over there. It's like an NBA fucking locker room.
They're researching the characters. A tax write-off.
And then I thought, you know, we inflate these costs with this obscene, fun, sentimental bullshit. Like, yeah, it's 8 p.m. They're all playing basketball, having a great time. We have a shot doctor making sure we look fluid and everything, right? I thought as well, think about how easy it would be to then do the next step of the only reason you even start getting famous in the first place is to launder money. So then we fucking inflate costs with these made up fucking jobs. Like, yeah, we actually need, yeah, if we can you guys see what the fee, like, what would it cost to have just, for how much could we purge the Sacramento Kings training staff for the show? I'm just asking that. I know they're paid a lot, $300,000, $100,000. Who cares? We want to look good on camera, you know? That's
what counts at the end of the day.
Spend all that money, get a little dirty money into that clean money, you know? Now it's like, yeah, like, wow, Alex, that was, you know, you and your brother took a very interesting deal where it was no money up front. Like, yeah, we actually haven't gotten paid at all for it, wink, wink. And it's like, yeah, I actually made 7 figures off of illegal money.
That's what everybody makes, right? Like, at least 100,000.
Yeah,
at least 6 figures easy.
What's the average American salary? Like $300,000 a year.
Average, right?
And that person has a following. It's like, that's good. That's helping. That's not gonna die down. You know how evolution is like the best of the best, right? Mm-hmm. Where it's like, well, if that person can jump really far and that person can jump really far and they have a kid, their kid can probably jump pretty far. It's evolution.
I really
right?
don't understand how that works, to be honest. But yeah, I know what evolution is, but I don't understand
only the best genes pass on over and over again. So if you keep getting the people if you keep like breeding if you keep breeding the people who are faster, everyone's gonna be faster than the people who, and then you just, you know, it's survival of the fittest, blah, blah, blah. The best passes on. That's my point.
Explain to me like I'm 4.
Okay. So
I'm just kidding.
You jump high. You want to jump higher. Maybe if both of your parents jumped higher, you could jump higher over time. My point is, you know, you kind of like erase things. Like the more time progresses, everything's just about recreating your genes, passing your DNA, and everything else disappears. Blah blah blah. Right. Mm. My point was, it's dangerously unhealthy for a person who thinks the average American salary is $100,000 a year to have that large of a following, where he's talking and sharing his opinions with people who are like, yeah, that's really smart. That's interesting. That's
a really
dangerous.
Good point. That's a really good point. See, because we shun everybody.
But I'm well aware that people make $100,000 a year,
and it's also just in jest.
It's just yeah.
Word to bring it back.
It's under the guise of making it being meme. It's actually just done in jest. It's actually all funny.
It's a comedy podcast. Everything we say on here is a joke.
Yeah. You know, he's a WAP genius.
I've been wanting to say that.
It's one of those things.
I love that joke.
But yeah, man.
You had a couple of good points I was going to add to. Then you kept making more good points, and now I can't remember the good points I was going to say.
And it needs to be in cheesy, you know? Boom, there's the flavor.
Can you backpedal slightly? What were you saying, though? Because
I have no idea, man. In the middle of my last long-winded talking. 3 different points 3 different points in myself talking. I'm like, wait, what am I talking about? Because usually when I'm talking, I'm about like 3 words in my head ahead of what's actually coming out of my mouth.
Yeah.
So I'm like, wait, whoa, I gotta figure this out quick. 'Cause I'm gonna be pausing for a long time here.
Well, I mean, I remember you said something good. You said some good stuff, and
that's all that matters, really. That's all that matters. Yeah. Again, this isn't the what we're talking about. It's irrelevant. It's the fact that we're hitting the metrics. It's the numbers. 22 minutes. It's the consistency. And like fucking Howard Stern said, the only reason I'm even being a podcaster is so I can then become a commercial broadcaster for Sirius XM. Well, and this podcast isn't going to get me anywhere unless I can move to Connecticut and become a DJ.
Dude, his logic was Mike's logic.
Yes.
I know I'm doing that asshole thing. I talk about people that I know that no one else listening to can relate to this. But explain Mike's broker story.
I was going to say, you mean the stockbroking thing?
Yeah. And then finish the Howard Stern thing.
I don't know. I think I want to be a stockbroker.
How you gonna become a stockbroker exactly?
I'm start doing it.
You have to go
you don't have to go to school for it. You don't have to it's like you need. No, it's like I could go to school. I'm not going to go to school.
So how do you think you're gonna become a stockbroker?
Dude, I'm just gonna I don't know. I'll just find some had some really good stallion stock, some Gordon Gekko guy who just really gets it, who wants to retire and he doesn't want to leave everything behind. He wants teach his protege some new tricks, bring someone on, show him the ropes, then retire. So I'll find some old guy who is really good, wealthy, wants to do it, and then show me the ropes, get a hang of it. Maybe he'll give me his business. And then I'll start off that way, get my feet wet, on a personal level.
Yeah, doesn't that situation usually work when the person
doesn't that sound like that one movie in GTA 5 that they play in the movie theater by that idiot stockbroker? No, I don't think so. Ask me about that now.
Doesn't an older stockbroker usually protege a younger stockbroker, not just some kid he likes?
I don't know. Maybe no. I don't know. Maybe not. See, I can't confirm that. I don't know any fucking stockbrokers. Just like Mike doesn't know any fucking stockbrokers. Because realistically, if he was like, well, you know how my fucking father is a stockbroker? Maybe he'll teach me. Yeah, that's actually a pretty fair thing. Or my uncle is a very accomplished stockbroker. Maybe he'll teach me. No, he's like, I'm gonna go find a stranger on an island of 9 million people, and I'll find a stockbroker who wants to teach me. And then it's like, I'm sorry, what is he getting out of this? You gonna blow him? No, just the satisfaction and the happy to pass on his craft. And also,
he wants to pass his craft all down the song
let's
line.
just pretend that stockbrokers, that this is the rise and the fall. There's a natural, you can't. Let's pretend there's a hard cap on stockbrokers, and it's like one of those things where actually we're not. It's like the books are closed in the mob. We're not accepting new members, right? Yeah. The books are closed until some people die. Then they open the books again. Let's assume stockbrokers is like that.
That's
stockbroking.
Why they do that?
Yeah.
I thought it was like the cops are on us. We got too much heat. We got to lay low.
The books are usually closed because they don't need people.
I didn't realize that's how it worked.
But the books, if you're curious, the books are open.
So if any of you 5 families listen, we'd love to fucking hang out.
The books are open, guys. So from what I hear on the street, the books are open. And the books haven't been open for a while.
And speaking of books, we're watching Ozark. We're pretty good at laundering money now. So
that's true, man. I heard that part where Jonah was explaining it to Marty, and when they had a 5-year-old explain it, I was like, okay, now I get it. Now I get it. But no, Mike wanted to go to a stockbroker, which is batshit fucking crazy to say out loud to someone. Yeah. It's batshit crazy to have the thought. It's even crazier to say it out loud to someone.
The craziest part, I'm okay he had the thought. The craziest part is that he had the thought, didn't realize how batshit crazy it was, and thought he should proceed and tell people this.
How about I've heard him say it on 2 different occasions?
Did he say it verbatim both times? That's even funny.
No.
So what
was dumb when the second time he said it too.
Okay. What was the second? How I don't even know what the occasions were. What were the occasions?
Because the first time it was at least him telling me, him explaining to me almost as if it was like he's having the thought right then and there, being like, maybe I'll do this, maybe I'll do that. The second time was very, as a matter of fact, oh, this is what I'm going to do.
Okay.
Because I'm going to find a stockbroker of this giant island. And also, let's pretend that the books are open and this is the way stockbrokers work, and that the only way you can be a new stock. Let's say it's like a tattoo apprenticeship where you can't be a tattoo artist until you've done your deeds, right? Don't you fucking think that most stockbrokers, if this was the name of the game, it's you get older, you can't run it, you're not the shark you used to be, right? Wouldn't he be prepared for this and have someone to teach, not be like, God, so I wish I could find someone to teach randomly. I hope some strapping young lad comes up to me and also, it's like, again, this is the most succubus relationship possible. What do you bring to the table if you're just learning under him?
No, he's bringing the chance to have this guy's legacy carry on.
Yeah. Dude, not to mention
that's worth its weight in gold.
Actually happened. Let's say, let's just say he steps into shit and this happens for him, right? He finds Gordon Gekko and he gets Gordon Gekko. It's not even Gordon Gekko Wall Street. It's Gordon Gekko Wall Street money never sleeps. So it's like he's out of prison, he can't trade. It's one of those kind of deals, right? He's now Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah.
Let's say that happens, right? I had a thought here. I did. Hold on. I'll come back. Oh, no. Okay, yeah. I was gonna say, let's say that happens, right? Where the guy, like, this geezer, right? He's like, yeah, listen. I've taught you a lot. You've been in this. The fucked up part is that guy is like, I want you to continue on my legacy. The second that guy left the company, Mike would change the name of the company and just be like, yeah, it's actually called Mike now.
It's been that way for 20 years.
I said his last name. Oops, I guess I'll cut that one out. Maybe I'll go back to it. That's not that. Who gives a shit? I'll leave it in there. It's company name.
It's 100 names.
And then as far as
it's a LLC, you can say it.
That's true.
It's his law firm, a stockbroker firm.
Stockbroking firm, yeah.
Bye, Chiquita.